Despite the title, the NBA has always had this problem, but now this has gotten out of control. Every time a player even seems to breathe wrong, here comes the old heads. One good example is, as all of you know, Ja Morant did the gun emotes in the middle of the game. And you know his history. I'm not gonna get into all that. But what I am gonna get into is the comments being made about this. You see the Oldheads saying that Ja Morant is just a product of LeBron's cupcake era. Correct me if I'm wrong, but in the 2000s, didn't Gilbert Arenas sneak a gun to the locker rooms? An offense far worse than anything Ja Morant has ever done. The only difference between Ja and Gilbert Arenas is who the commissioner was at the time. You see, now it was cool when the Oldheads was saying don't repeat our mistakes, but this revisionist history is crazy, and this is only the beginning. You got Scottie Pippen, which I don't know if it's Alzheimer's or dementia. One day he's Jordan's friend, the next day he isn't Jordan's friend. One day he thinks LeBron is the greatest of all time, the next day he doesn't think LeBron's the greatest of all time. He's coming in saying that he doesn't think LeBron's the GOAT. That's a fair take. Now, what's crazy is that he's saying he's better than LeBron because he has 6 rings and LeBron has 4 rings. And apparently 6 is more than 4. What Scottie Pippen needs to understand is that historically, when it comes to pure hoops on the court, Scottie Pippen is a Robin. And no, it was not like how Kobe was Robin. You see, Kobe is Teen Titans Robin. That menace of society, that dog, that's Kobe. Teen Titans Robin was one of one. Like lock in and peep game. A knee drop from the top ropes, dog. You cannot tell me that's not Mamba mentality. Scottie Pippen was this Robin. I've seen this IG post with this pic of Scottie Pippen saying there are no easy buckets. This is real defense. Sir, this is a mugging. And there has been many criticisms and critiques about the defense that this era plays, which some of it is definitely fair. And to counter this and turn this narrative around, Dillon Brooks has been trying to help, and trust me, I see it and appreciate it. But this isn't the way. Last time I checked, your name was Dillon, not Diddy. You also have Shaq going off on a podcast as well. Like I've been saying, this has become an epidemic at this point. He was basically saying that LeBron and his longevity and the reason he can play for so long is because of the era he's in. Basically saying because his era is so soft, it allows him to get his achievements like the all-time scoring record. It's the reason why he can still play at 40. This basically helps the narrative that LeBron would not be able to play in any other era. Now, 2 things. Is what he's saying about LeBron's longevity and the correlation to the changing of the eras true? Yeah, I would say so. A little debatable, but there's definitely some truth to it. But if this is to imply that LeBron cannot play in any other era, you know what? That's a fair point. Until you realize not only did LeBron play in the 2000s, which is the dead ball era, an era of which the average of team scores was always less than 100 points. He also got to the NBA Finals in 2007, dragging a Cavs team that had no business being there. This was not even prime LeBron. He was 22 years old. And this is the second thing. This goes out to the old heads. You do not want Shaq representing you guys. I'm trying to do you guys a favor. Trust me. Shaq is not who y'all think he is. This may be a hot take, but you cannot hate on LeBron and praise Shaq in the same breath. When it comes to strictly mentality, at least. Shaq was talking about how there were some guys in the NBA that can't play. And he mentioned Ben Simmons. And look, there's no argument here. Ben Simmons is a scam artist. But the argument arises when he says he will give credit where credit is due. He will give credit where credit is due, but does not watch the Detroit Pistons, who has had one of the best come-ups in recent memory. That's an example of a team that's been playing. And no, not only does he not watch them, and he said it loud and proud too, he didn't even know who the coach was. And honestly, this is more of a media problem as well. And where I will say the NBA's media problem is actually way worse than the old head problem, which I do hope to talk about at one point. And Shaq is not even giving them a fair chance. And that's my problem when it comes to these old heads. Brandon Jennings, In which I don't know what his problem is. He feels like the male version of Azealia Banks, where he's coming for Jason Tatum and his trainer unprovoked. Like, what did Jason Tatum do?
You know, at this point, I think Jason Tatum just be getting slandered for just existing. It's ridiculous.
And apparently what the Oklahoma City Thunder is doing is not that special, because BJ Armstrong says half the league is tanking.
He's talking like this is the first year tanking has started in.
He's talking like this is the first era tanking has started in.
He's talking like tanking did not start around his era.
And wasn't this guy just a Jordan merchant?
He's basically the Patrick McCaw of the 90s.
Like, what is this, the revenge of the unks?
And then you wonder why LeBron is going on Pat McAfee's show and saying the things that he's saying. That's 20 years of frustration right there. Now, do I agree with all the things that he said? Not really. Especially that Giannis scoring 250 points in the 70s take. The question is, was it unprovoked? And the answer to that is no. He's just trying to defend him and his guys. The things Anthony Edwards said was not it either. But the old heads are talking like they're not the ones who started this discourse first. And now they're playing victim.
Now, as it stands today, are there problems with the NBA?
Yes, most definitely. Especially the beginning of the season. That stretch from October to December was horrible. But now, when you strip all the noise from outside of the season away, right now, there are straight hoops going on. Jokic is putting up 2K numbers right now. His numbers are make-believe, never before seen. And this is only one example. Jokic is not carrying the NBA.
But no, the old heads refuse to acknowledge this for one reason or another.
And the truth is, even if the NBA was good,
and I say good in quotations,
it wouldn't matter because it's not their era. They would have found something to hate on. Now, I understand there's been this environment of players that have not done the game justice at all. But to counter this, these old heads have created another extreme that isn't doing the game justice either. They're basically the red pill of the NBA.